It's your home for the first reaction and analysis after the Dogs play. This is DawgNation Postgame, brought to you by Sercheros, Circle K, and Georgia Spot Company. Now live from the UGA bookstore in Athens, here's your host, Brandon Adams.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome into our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. We are live here at the UGA bookstore, where Georgia has finished off its regular season slate here at Sanford Stadium with a 35-3 win against the Charlotte 49ers. We're going to talk about that with you over the course of the next hour plus. We'd love to have you join us here on the program today. You can give us a call, 678-645-DAWG. Dawg, of course, spelled D-A-W-G. You can click the link on any of our live chats at Facebook, at YouTube, at DawgNation.com. You can join us there for that. Or if you're leaving the stadium and you want to come by and see us all at the UGA bookstore on your way home from the stadium, on your way out of the stadium, love to have you do that too. A lot to discuss about what goes down for Georgia today against Charlotte. By the way, it is jam-packed in this UGA bookstore as Dawg fans are both excited about the win and getting decked out and stocked up and everything else for a great Christmas season and a fun holiday time of year, with Georgia very much a part of the college football playoff race. We'll also welcome in Rodrigo Blankenship here in just a moment. Let me take one second, though, to say one thing before we get there. You know, if you want proper context for what Georgia did today, and trust me, in a minute with Rodrigo, we'll get into a lot of the guys, young guys, who were involved and made it happen for Georgia today. We'll get into all of that here coming up in a moment. But let me give you just a small piece of context before we get there. You know, every year the odds makers, the sports books, things like that, put together a season win total, a projection, if you will, for how they think that a team is going to do. Last year, Georgia's was set at 10.5. Georgia went 10-2. Georgia went under that win total last season. This year, there was a downgrade in expectations for Georgia. The win total projections, depending on which sports book you might have looked at, the odds makers you might have paid attention to, they only had Georgia's season win total set at 9.5 because of the schedule that Georgia was playing, because of what maybe the viewpoint was about Georgia after it lost 3 times a year ago. Well, today, in what was otherwise a sleepy, fairly nonchalant game, Georgia exceeded its projected season win total. It went past its over-under total. That means if you're holding a ticket on Georgia, that ticket cashed today. And for some additional context on that, this is the 4th time in the last 5 years that Georgia has gone over its predicted win total. The TV broadcast a moment ago on the SEC network saying for the first time in Georgia program history, it has put together 5 consecutive 10-win seasons. Here's the point, and then we'll bring on Rodrigo Blankenship. When you watch Georgia just rack up another win against an overmatched opponent like Charlotte, just keep in mind the clip at which that Georgia has won, certainly for the entirety of the Kirby Smart era, but especially in this last 5 years, in this decade of the 2020s. This is unlike anything this program has ever seen, and frankly, almost unlike anything any program has ever seen, exceeding expectations every year, even as those expectations get higher and higher and higher. So we believe for Georgia, before this 2025 season comes to an end, there are some very big wins still in store. Maybe an in-state rivalry next week against Georgia Tech, maybe an SEC championship after that, and then who knows what might happen after that. But for now, let's just pause and reflect that once again, facing lofty expectations, at least from the perspective of odds makers, Georgia has already exceeded those expectations and really outdone the pace it was on a year ago. So maybe worth giving them a little credit for that before we get into the official particulars of today's game. But with that in mind, we'll start talking to some of our folks here live from the UGA bookstore. We'll give you a chance to join us, 678-645-DAWG. You can click the link in the chat, be a part of the show. But Rodrigo Blankenship, let me bring you in on this too. First of all, it's great to have you here as a part of our DawgNation Postgame call-in show today. First of all, how about the just remarkable consistency of Georgia to rack up the double-digit wins year after year after year, even in a season like this when a lot of folks weren't quite so sure that's what Georgia was going to be able to do? First of all, just how remarkable is this consistency from Georgia that's become so commonplace?
I think that it's incredibly remarkable to see how this program has been able to continue to have success year after year. As you've said, being able to rack up so many double-digit win seasons is really impressive and something that a lot of programs aspire to. A lot of programs wish that they could have the success that the University of Georgia is having, especially in the 2020s, as we've already seen with 2 national championships in the last 5 years. So Coach Smart, I think, is delivering unprecedented success to the University of Georgia, and a lot of programs are hoping that they can try and match in this new era with NIL and the transfer portal. It seems to be a lot more parity across college football, and so I think a lot more programs feel like, this is the standard they're trying to achieve, and they're trying to match with what Coach Smart has done. So it's a tremendous testament to Coach Smart, what he's done to build this program in terms of recruiting and transfer portal and player development, just running your program the right way to continue to have success year after year. It's really a testament to him and a testament to the players that he is able to bring in year after year.
This is also a day, 35-3 over Charlotte, that Georgia got a lot of players involved. Many of those young players that we haven't necessarily seen a ton already this season. Rodrigo, what stood out to you about today's game?
Yeah, I was really excited to see some younger guys get some work. We saw some of these guys get a little bit of work earlier in the season in the first 2 weeks when we played against Marshall and Austin Peay. But it was nice to see some of those guys get back into the action and make some, some splash plays here and there throughout the game, especially in the second half when a lot of them got more playing time. So it was really exciting to see some of our guys get a little bit more experience and start to show some flashes of what we can come to expect from these young guys in the next few years as we have our seniors and other players leaving for the NFL, as I'm sure we will have plenty do so at the end of this season.
And, of course, throughout our time here, we'll hear from a lot of Georgia fans what they liked about today's game. That's on the phone, 678-645-DAWG. Clicking the link from the chat wherever you happen to be watching live right now, you can be a part of the show. Or, as many are doing here live at the UGA bookstore, step on up. We'll get you on the show. We'll let you sound off there as well. Our guy Andrew going to join us here first. He's got the Gunnar Stockton jersey on. He's looking great with that today. Andrew, quite a day for Georgia. A lot of guys got involved. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I thought it was just a great game that they got to play. We didn't have to worry, and we got to see a lot of the new players play, and it looks like we maybe didn't suffer any big injuries. And how great is it to be a Dawg fan? How lucky do we have it?
We have it so good. There's so much coaching controversy around the SEC and teams fighting and scratching and hoping their postseason fate. With Georgia playing the way that it is right now, you feel pretty confident about that. And as you said, to be able to have the relaxed atmosphere after a lot of this season has been pretty nail-biting, that was a welcome change of pace, was it not?
It really was. I was here last week for the Texas game. It was a totally different environment. Texas was awesome, and it was great that we took care of business that day. But it was nice to have a nice, relaxing Saturday in Athens. So,
well, Andrew, it's great to see you here. Appreciate you being part of the show. Thank you very much. Will, happy Thanksgiving, Andrew. Appreciate Go Dogs, indeed. Appreciate you being here. And Rodrigo, it does feel that way. You compare this to Marshall, Austin Peay to begin the season. You don't really quite know what Georgia's going to be. And then you run through a really busy stretch of SEC games after that where almost all of them had some form of drama. Many of them required late game comebacks, fourth quarter magic, some of them more improbable than others. To be able to not do any of that today, it was probably a nice welcome change. And knowing you've got a big one next Friday against Georgia Tech, thinking that you can get this over with and done with, as Andrew said there, perhaps without any major injuries coming out of today. I think for a lot of Georgia fans, this might have been exactly what the doctor ordered after the heart-stopping season that has mostly been taking place over the course of the last few weeks.
Yes, exactly. Just what the doctor ordered today. We needed a low-stress, low-stakes environment for this game today. I'm sure that it is much appreciated for Dawg fans across the country today and for everybody who was there in person. It was really nice to see, just not have to get not have to have our body temperature raised, not have to have our blood boiling from start to finish with, a crazy intense atmosphere. It was really nice to see the Dawgs just take care of business, see our starters really be able to dominate in the first half, and then see our younger guys get some experience, some much-needed experience in the second half. And as our great Georgia fan Andrew had said, making sure that we walk away relatively unscathed in the injury department is a really big win.
So we'll keep the conversation going here. One of the guys is always great to join us as a phone caller or a Zoom caller during our broadcast. Happens to be here with us live today. Joseph's here. He's also brought a friend with him there too. Tell us your name.
Tony.
Tony, it's good to have you here, and glad to have good look. We're going to call this a Ellis Robinson jersey today. Yeah, Sony Michelle works for that too, but Robinson got himself a pick. Joseph, you've been great all season long reacting to this Georgia game. Today was the day a lot of folks got involved. How did you feel about what you saw?
Oh, I loved it. Loved it, Brandon. And it's good. Like the other guy just came up here said that we got some young guys in to get going, get that flow going. So just in case we might need it, I wish Ryan Puglisi had got a touchdown, got his name in the newspaper, but he did good. So just in case, like we said last year with Gunner, he got some action today and everything. So I'm getting geared up for that Georgia Tech game. Good old-fashioned hate. I'll be there, me and my family.
I love it.
That's right. And
we're going to have a bunch of Georgia fans representing next Friday in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's right. Get ready for that good old-fashioned hate because there's going to be good old-fashioned hate.
So I guess my question would be for you, how ready do you think Georgia is for this? I mean, there's a chance, if things go well, Georgia may play all of its games the rest of the season in these NFL stadiums with Tech, then maybe SEC Championship, then maybe College Football Playoff after that. How ready do you think Georgia is for all of this?
I think we're gearing up. Like I think it started with Mississippi State, and then now when we played Texas, and then now with how we played today. So we gearing up for that. So that long haul, and so because it's gonna be a long haul. You know how Georgia Tech was. I was here last year for that 8 overtime, me and my family. So I hope we don't do that next Friday, because I already take enough blood pressure medication, and hope Georgia can bring this home in regular time, and we get out and say to being with a win.
I'm right there with you on that. I don't think I can take 8 overtimes again. How about you? What did you see today, and just your overall thoughts on where Georgia is?
Oh, dominant performance. The running game was out of sight. Walker and Frazier, they just took it to them. Defense played a really good game too. They holding them to 3 points. Very few first downs by Charlotte. So a dominant performance by Georgia. I think they're ready for the playoff.
I love that, guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, go
Joseph,
Dogs.
go Dogs.
Yeah,
See you
go
next
Dogs.
Friday,
Yes,
okay?
sir. See you next
Good stuff there. Joseph on his way to the Tech game next week. A lot of Georgia fans are, too. Also kind enough to join us here in our DawgNation post-game call-in show today. And, Rodrigo, I'll come back to you. I'm glad we get a mention now for Bo Walker on this. Between Bo Walker and Nate Frazier, you got 5 total rushing touchdowns between that duo. But in the case of Bo Walker, pretty special, obviously, for a freshman who we had heard lots of good things about going back to the spring and throughout fall camp in the summer. To get a chance to showcase his talents today, I thought that was a great thing to see. And obviously, Georgia's very well taken care of with its running game right now. Chauncey Bowen's a little banged up at the moment. Nate Frazier, who's come along as the season's progressed. But, boy, when you think about future years, what you saw from Bo Walker today, that gives you reason to believe that Georgia could have a very bright future with him, too.
Yes, absolutely. It's been great to see how many Georgia running backs have been able to step up this season and answer the bell when their number has been called, and Bo Walker did so today. We've seen Nate Frazier make a ton of progress, especially since the Alabama game. He's just been performing at another level. Chauncey Bowens has played great. We saw Phillips again today, and we saw some flashes from him earlier in the season, so it was great to see Phillips get back in the action, and then Bo Walker with 3 touchdowns to his name, career high. It gives me a lot of hope that the future is going to be bright with this Georgia running back room for years to come, and these guys are already getting very valuable reps this season. That's going to pay dividends for them down the road in years to come.
I'll tell you this, it's absolutely jam-packed right now at the UGA bookstore. It's almost like being at the mall on Christmas Eve. A lot of folks getting stocked up, getting looking good. If you want the Peter Millar, the On Reserve, the Vineyard Vines, the Tommy Bahama, the 47 brand, the Nike Coaches gear, all of the great-looking apparel that you see all the time. We love that good-looking UGA apparel. There's no better place to come do your shopping than right here at the UGA bookstore. It's also been a great season of autographed guests before the games. Always so good to make the game day experience here at the UGA bookstore an excellent one. And as Joseph, our commenter, just mentioned, he expects a long run through the college football playoff. So if you want good-looking gear to wear for all of these big games that Georgia has coming up, or if you want to shop for that hard-to-buy person on your Christmas shopping list, the UGA bookstore is the place to do it. So anytime you're in and around Athens, it's right across from Sanford Stadium, right next to the Tate Student Center. You can also shop online, UGAbookstore.com. But honestly, it's a great place to be in here and just catch some vibes from some Georgia folks, be on campus. If you're here at a 9-game day, don't forget, you can go on the bridge and really see into Sanford Stadium from the open end there, where they've done a nice job at the west end zone. A great way to look at the stadium and get some awesome picture opportunities there for that. You can do that. but we have loved being at the UGA bookstore once again here for 2025. This is our regular season finale, but what a year for us it's been once again at the UGA bookstore. Their hospitality for us and all the Georgia fans who gather around is always such a good thing. Let's get the comments going here some more. Let's check in with Adrian. Adrian, you're next up on our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. Adrian, how about them Dogs, and how about this win for Georgia here today?
Hi, Brandon. I'm calling from New Orleans.
Hey, Adrian.
I'm an Atlanta resident, and I just wanted to say a couple of things. One, I have never been so happy not to see three main players playing. C.J. Allen, Drew Bobo, and another young man that needed a little bit of time from last
Ernest
week.
Green?
I can't remember. I'm so happy that we were able to sit those folks out and have no drop-off whatsoever. The Dogs played with energy. They played with passion. And that pass rush was on it all day long. So happy with the way the Dogs played and really looking forward to Clean Old-Fashioned Hate next Friday.
I love it, Adrian. That's a great phone call, and I'm glad you reached out to say that. And Rodrigo, I'll echo what she says there. Yes, C.J. Allen, who had gotten his knee banged up in the game against Texas, he got some rest today. Chauncey Bowen's got some rest today. We also found out just before the game, Drew Bobo was going to miss. He got some rest. No reason to believe that was anything other than precautionary. At least we hope that's the case. Ernest Green, who's obviously worked his way back to health after dealing with some back issues earlier in the season, or some, I guess you call it lower body issues, whatever they want to officially say. He got some rest today too, and for the most part, it seemed that Georgia did just fine. It also seemed like, at least to my knowledge, nobody got added to that list. So I'm glad to hear Georgia fans happy about that. Now listen, if you're a Georgia fan, you like watching your favorite players play. But today, to not have to play guys like that and hopefully not add anybody to that injury list, I agree with Adrian, Rodrigo. That's a very good thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, it's a great thing as far as I'm concerned as well. And, it's something that I think we see a lot at the NFL level as well, is when you get late in the season, when teams have their playoff positions locked up, or maybe they know for a fact that they're not going to be going to the playoffs in those last 2 to 3 weeks of the season, we frequently see, big-time players and starters for certain teams that are going to get a little bit of rest. They're going to be able to take a breather because you've got a lot bigger fish to fry later on in your season. And so I think it was a great opportunity for some of Georgia's key players to get a little bit healthier. And as we know, depending on how the playoff picture shakes out over the course of the next couple weeks, Georgia could be seeing a lot more time to rest some of these key players and get them well rested and as healthy as possible for a potential playoff run.
And by the way, speaking of regular callers, joining us live today, our guy Bill Camacho checking in from Rome, Georgia here right now. Bill, why don't you slide on in and tell us what you thought. Georgia gets a win, made it look easy, perhaps getting a little rest. You got Tech coming up on Friday. All seems good in Dogland right now, does it not?
Correct. And this was the opportunity to get everybody in the game. I mean, everybody some reps. And having, as you mentioned, all the players that are injured, hopefully they'll be ready for Friday. I pray, because we're going to need them really, really bad.
I'll tell you this, Bill. I love the fact that, as you mentioned, a lot of guys get a chance to play. For the Georgia players who practice so hard and they want their moment, I do think that Kirby does a good job of getting as many guys involved. We saw Daniel Akwankwo, for instance, get an interception near the end of the game. For these guys who've just been waiting for a chance to have the crowd cheer for them, to see their name on television, Georgia really got a lot of guys in this game. For me, that's a really fun thing to see.
Correct. My point exactly.
Well, listen, Bill, it's great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Appreciate you being a part of the show.
You too.
Good stuff there from our buddy Bill Camacho. We appreciate Miss Lynn being here with him today, too. You love to see that. And, Rodrigo, you know this because you are a player and you've obviously been around players. Man, the grind from at practice week after week, so hard. And guys just want to feel a part of it. And I do think that even in a normal game situation, Kirby does a good job of getting a lot of guys in the game, making a lot of guys feel like they have a role in this team. But today's an extended opportunity for some of the guys who maybe haven't had that as much in the previous 10 games. It was great to see some of, I mentioned Akwankwo getting an interception interception. You can talk about Bo Walker getting 3 touchdowns. You can talk about, a lot of guys having their moment today. And I know after a long season of very tough physical practices, that's a welcome sight for many of them.
Yes, it is. And, I really think that this is a great opportunity for some of these guys who have been practicing all year long. They've been busting their butts and probably, spending a lot of their time on scout team or on the look team, as you might want to call it. A lot of these guys that don't normally get reps, as a part of the usual offensive game plan on a week-to-week basis, finally got their time to shine. And so I think a lot of guys took advantage of that opportunity to make some really big plays and make some, and make a name for themselves today. So it's really great to see. And I'm sure that today is a really rewarding experience and a really rewarding day for a lot of these guys who have been grinding away on scout team all year.
So click the link. You can join us live, whichever chat you happen to be watching on right now, Facebook, YouTube, DawgNation.com. Be a part of the show that way. You can also give us a call, 678-645-DAWG. That's D-A-W-G, 678-645-DAWG. Or if you're leaving Sanford Stadium, pop on by and see us here at the UGA bookstore. There's a big crowd here right now. A lot of Georgia fans excited about what they saw today, but maybe more importantly, excited about what they're going to see in the weeks to come, as it may be coming together for Georgia at the right time. Let's keep it going with our guy Isha in Texas. Isha, you're next up on our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. Isha, how about them Dogs, and what did you like about UGA today, mostly making it look easy against what we believe was an overmatched opponent?
How you doing, BA?
Hey, Isha.
I'm always grateful for the fans. I think it's sometimes understated in games like this when we just had a big game last week and then we got a team that, let's say a cupcake team that we supposed to play the week before. So I'm always glad when the crowd is just as active in this game and than it was last game. But as far as the game goes, great effort from, I want to say, first team starters. I wouldn't say starters, first team players, because our second and third string did awesome, especially on the offensive line and the defense. And the callous of running backs that we have, they all play great, so between the run game, playing different running backs and all the different players on offense, the second half, I know we didn't do like everybody wanted us to do, but we did a great job in that second half of keeping them off the scoreboard defensively. We did some things on offense, but with all those shifting and different players here and there, I'm not too worried about how the second and third string offensive players look. They got some reps. That's all I'm glad about. There was another point, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, I know, the bookstore. I didn't mention before how great it was when I actually attended that second game about the bookstore. Love the bookstore. Matter of fact, I'm wearing the pants I bought out of there now because most of the stuff, I live in Texas, so most of the stuff I get is online from Fanatics, and they run out a lot of stuff. So I had to kind of taper down and not spend too much money when I went there. But great environment in that bookstore.
Oh, listen, I'm the same way.
So I just had to keep it calm going in there and not spend too much money. But great effort on the game.
Yeah, great phone call. Yeah, love that, Isha. Great phone call, and thanks for the kind words about the bookstore. I know they love to hear that, too. And I'm just like you. When I walk in here, I'm looking around. I'm like, boy, I could buy every shirt in here and just stock my closet up good. So I'm glad to hear that you feel the same way on that. And, Rodrigo, I'll also bring you back in on this. He talks about, guys getting in at the beginning of the game. It was kind of a cool note today that for the first time in his career, Cass Jones actually registers a start on senior day for him. The fifth-year senior for Georgia was the running back in the game to begin. They also send him in motion, essentially going to a 5-wide look to begin the game, which you'll never see for Georgia for the most part. But Cass Jones, on his at least final scheduled home game of his Georgia career, got a chance to register a start. So now that's a really cool thing for Cash, who came up huge last week for Georgia, recovering the onside kick. And today on senior day, he gets his first career start. You got to imagine that was a big deal for him.
Yeah, I mean, Cash has had a great last couple weeks, as you said, recovering that onside kick against Texas last weekend, becoming a pivotal moment in that game where Georgia really just started to pour it on and, pull away in the second half. That was great to see. And then today, getting a start on senior night, potentially his last home game in Sanford Stadium. Who knows what the future may bring? We may get one more, but on senior night, he gets the start, for the first time in his career. So Cash Jones has had a great last couple of weeks, and I'm really happy to see all the success that he's had personally, as well as the contributions that he's made towards the University of Georgia football team the last couple of years.
We're going to run through a bunch more commenters here live and then calls too. But Rodrigo, before we say goodbye to you here on this Saturday afternoon, I want to ask you a similar question to what I asked some other folks a little earlier. For Georgia, it gets real fast. In-state rival game against Tech on Friday, maybe an SEC championship after that. Who knows with college football playoff and beyond? At least that's the hope for Georgia beyond that. How ready do you think Georgia is for the stretch run that's now perhaps on the way here?
Yeah, I think that this team is very close to being ready. I think that Georgia Tech is the final test. I think I would say, they're going to present a little bit different challenge with Haynes King being a, very good mobile quarterback, very good with his legs. He's very dynamic in the air and on the ground. And Georgia hasn't seen a quarterback, I think, of his caliber in quite some time. He's a great player. He obviously did some damage to us last year. And so this is going to be a really great test and a final litmus test for Georgia going into the college football playoffs to see, are they truly ready? And I think that if they can get over this hurdle of Georgia Tech, who's, playing at a higher level than their program has played in a very long time, then I'm going to feel real confident about the Dawgs being able to make a long run into the playoffs. So I think they're almost ready. And, just one more thing that I'll add in, just something to kind of keep in mind. Gunnar Stockton has obviously been playing incredible. He's been playing nearly flawless football the last few weeks. But something that I've talked about with Kaylee on the last few pregame shows is trying to make sure that we take care of the football. And, unfortunately, I've noticed a trend that Gunnar has thrown 3 interceptions in the last 4 games now, which he had done a tremendous job of taking care of the football early in the season. So I want to see him get back to that. Coach Smart made mention of it in his interview at the end of the half. Just wants to see him make sure that he's making the best decisions possible at all times. And I trust that as the stakes get raised, Gunnar will continue to answer the bell. So as long as Gunnar continue to make good decisions and take care of the football, especially against Georgia Tech next week where points are going to be at a premium, I think we're going to be just fine.
Let me ask you one more question before we let you go, Rodrigo, if you don't mind. I'm thinking about this as you're talking. Years ago, he was one of your former teammates, Cameron Nislek, who was the punter back in one of the eras when you would have been the Georgia kicker, was a guest of ours in the post-game show. And he talked about the way in which Georgia prepared for Georgia Tech in between the 2016 and 2017 seasons after Georgia had lost to Tech in Kirby's first year and obviously got retribution for that in 2017. You remember this week as a former Georgia player, Kirby Smart's feelings about the Georgia Tech rivalry, and what was that like as Georgia was chasing that retribution? We're led to believe that's one of the things that Nick Chubb and Sony Michel came back to Georgia for because they hated that loss they suffered to Georgia Tech in 2016. In other words, as someone who's been a part of this, what is this week of preparation like for Georgia, and how ready do you think they'll be for Tech next Friday?
Yeah, this week is going to be unlike any other, I would say. And, thinking back to the years that I was here, I remembered we would have some Georgia Tech game planning in spring practice. That is how serious Georgia is about beating Georgia Tech on a yearly basis as we start doing some game planning for Georgia Tech during spring ball, just so everyone is fully aware, hey, we have to make sure that we take care of business when we play this team. This is one of the top rivalries that we have on our schedule on a yearly basis. Obviously, our SEC rivalries are going to get shaken up here in the next 3 to 4 years with how they're doing the scheduling, but Georgia Tech is always going to be someone that we line up across every single season, and we have to make sure that we take care of business. And so the attention to detail, the focus, the intensity, the effort, the energy, I believe is all going to be raised to a higher level than we've seen from this team up to this point in the season, and I think it's going to be coming at the perfect time to make sure that we can walk away with a win on Black Friday.
Rodrigo, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being here on our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. We'll look forward to talking to you soon, and just appreciate you being a part of the show today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on again. Happy Thanksgiving, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs indeed. Great stuff from Rodrigo Blankenship. Give us a call, 678-645-DAWG. Click the link, join us live. We will run through as many Georgia fans as we can, including those live here at the UGA bookstore, including some great folks here. Great to see you again. Remind people about y'all's names, and we'll talk some Georgia with you right now. Thanks for waiting, by the way, too.
Thank you. Tim from Dallas, Georgia, the Big D, and my daughter, Audrey.
Hey, Audrey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
This is her last game as a student.
So let me ask you this. How emotional was that? Obviously, special time. What was it like to soak that up? Beautiful day for that and be around your friends and enjoying Georgia football.
It was amazing. It was a lot hotter than I expected, but it was so fun, and I was so happy we won, but definitely a little sad that it was my last time in Sanford as a student.
Well, I'm sure you'll have great memories of that for many years to come. And Tim, tell me how you felt about the game overall.
Well, before we get to that, I was just say great job on DawgNation on Tap last.
Oh, thank you. We had a great time at the Terrapin. Yeah.
If you didn't make it, you really missed it. Got to see all the crew, and I remember walking out to the parking lot with Connor Riley, and he called it. I said, "How you feeling about the game Saturday?" He goes, "We're going to win it by a big margin."
I like it.
Go Connor. And it was also good to see Matthew giving us some national respect, and people need to respect when they come to Sanford.
I agree that. Matt McConaughey, was nice to see that, right?
And playing the Dogs. You know, as everybody's saying, I was a little bit worried when I see Gunner out there running and taking some big hits, and, you know, glad everybody got out. That's good.
I'll tell you this, Tim, before you finish your point, I was joking with somebody else, too. It's like, I don't know, for some reason, I was holding my breath every single time. He's full extension. You know, he's diving for first down. It's like, Gunner, please, I promise, we don't need to do this today. Save it for Tech. Save it for the playoffs. Save it for the SEC championship. He's out there with the same reckless abandon in this game that he plays with in every game.
That's what my friend, we were texting, and I said, I don't like that. And he goes, he's just being Gunner. You know, so that's what you got to see. But it was also good to see, you know, we really need to get CJ back and really want to get Chauncey back. But Chris Cole still doing a solid job right there in the middle if he can't come back next week.
Had a sack today, by the way.
Yes, and then also good to see about 24.
Dominic Kelly?
Bo Walker.
Bo Walker, yeah.
Bo Walker getting some good carries in there.
3 touchdowns for Bo Walker.
I'm feeling a lot better if Chauncey can't go. We've got a solid guy to step in behind Frazier, so that's good. So, you know, we got to wreck Tech. You know, got to swat those jackets because got to keep the in-laws, keep them at bay. And just great ending to a good season and last home game. So it's glad to be there. I hope to be at Tech next week and yelling my head off again. So
I'm hearing you have divided allegiances in the family. Got a little Thanksgiving tension. Is that right?
My mom's side of the family.
All right, well, listen, and there are a lot of people who are that way. So for everybody who feels that way, hope Georgia gets this win on Friday so Christmas season and everything else can be as happy as it needs to be.
Well, and then we can just kind of sit back and then we can watch what's happening on Saturday between Oklahoma, between Texas A&M and between Alabama, and see if we're going to hopefully, you know, I'm kind of like Kirby. We want to win. We want to go back in and win the SEC championship, so that'd be great.
Great to see you guys. Happy Thanksgiving, and congratulations on a great college career, and hope you have plenty of great memories of a fun season.
Thank you. I do, yes.
Great to hear the Georgia fans right there. Good stuff. We'll keep the conversation going. By the way, speaking of Bo Walker, we'll also crown him our ServPro Game Ball recipient today. 3 touchdowns will get you there for the freshman running back. An awesome thing for him. Bo Walker, the ServPro Game Ball recipient. Awesome to see. We'll get more folks here at the live UGA bookstore. Tim's in Oglethorpe. He's also been hanging on, too. Tim, you're next up on our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. Tim, how about them Dogs? And 35-3, a lot to talk about. Pretty deep roster of Georgia players get in today. How did you feel about it?
We were there and we loved it. We had a good time. Fighting to see Bo Walker and all them guys play touchdowns. And I believe it was Elijah, and that was awesome. We just had a great time. We was going to come see you, but we had to hurry up and get home. And I won't believe who I ran into today, right before the game.
Who was that?
I ran into old Rusty Manziel.
Who was that?
Got me a picture with Rusty Manziel.
Is that right? Let me ask you this. Did Rusty charge you for that picture?
No, we got a picture with him and talked to him. He was a pretty good fella. Yep, but we had a great
Well,
time.
listen, that's an awesome thing to hear, Tim. Yeah, we may have lost Tim's signal there on that, but Tim, I'm glad you had a good time. Glad you got a chance to say hello to Rusty, and I do know this, talking to Rusty last night, He was bringing his family here today. Young folks getting a chance to his young daughter getting a chance to see the game, and we got a family standing by with us here right now. So Tim, it seems like a lot of folks were doing that here today, and so let's say hello to everybody. First of all, tell us your name.
My name's Chris.
Chris, thanks for being here. Bring your family. What's your name?
Avery.
Avery's nice to meet you. I like your Georgia jersey, by the way. That looks good. And what's your name?
My name's Landon.
Nice to see you guys. So Avery, let me ask. Oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, your wife right over there. So the whole family is represented right now. Avery, I'm going to start with you. Did you have a good time today, and what was your favorite part?
That we won.
Yeah, it's always good when Georgia wins, right? Did you get something good from the concession stand?
Yeah.
That's always good, too. And, Chris, how did you feel about the game? And you saw a lot of guys play for Georgia today and maybe staying healthy and maybe getting a little bit more ready for the big rivalry game coming up on Friday. What did you think about it?
That's right. That was what I was saying all week, that we needed to stay healthy, rotate as many guys in, keep Gunner healthy, keep him safe.
We were joking earlier, the Gunner's out there running around like it's the Texas game, diving for first down.
I was saying to him, it was making me go crazy. I was like, calm down, man, calm down. We don't need that for this. So it was a great game, though. We did good. We just need to get ready. It's going to be a short week of practice for Georgia Tech, and we need to destroy them.
And Landon, I do think it's maybe an advantage for Georgia a bit that Tech plays tonight. Pitt's a team that's pretty physical. They're going to try to get after you a little bit. Pretty good team, better than what Tech's been playing in recent weeks. The fact that Georgia gets done a little earlier, maybe a little extra rest. Kirby likes to think in terms of hours, so Georgia gets a few hour head start on Tech. That's not a bad thing, right?
No, it's not, because we need that time, heal up, and then we have the time before Friday in order to be.
What else you think about the game?
Oh, that was good. It's a good practice game is what I call it. So when we play nobodies, it's a good practice to step up our game and, bring our second to third strings out.
We did our hype video this week about all the families get a chance to beat a game like this. Not always easy to bring the little ones to a game like Texas for a lot of reasons, but it's great to see the entire family come out today. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy the weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy some time off from school too, right? So good stuff there. Yeah, appreciate that. A lot of Georgia fans hanging out, having a good time. You can join us via the phone, 678-645-DAWG. That's DAWG, 678-645-DAWG. Click the link to join us live. You can be a part of the show that way, too. So a lot of fun going down. We'll keep it going here live right now. Georgia fans weighing in here at the UGA bookstore, where Georgia's gotten a big win, 35-3 over Charlotte today, capping off at least the scheduled home games, the regular season home finale. Who knows what comes up after that? And I loved it when Brooke Whitmire was on the PA at the end of the game saying, get ready for Tech on Friday. And then who knows after that? And we're all kind of waiting and wondering what exactly is in store for Georgia beyond the regular season finale against Georgia Tech at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Tell us your name and what you thought about the Georgia game today.
My name's Grayson. I liked it. I really don't like how we couldn't score in the fourth quarter. I feel like that we should have been able to at least score a field goal. But other than that, I feel like it was a good game.
Yeah, the good thing is you did get Ryan Puglisi some playing time today, and at the very end of the game, you got Ryan Montgomery some time, too. That's a name that Kirby Smart had talked about last week as another quarterback that's coming on and developing. Maybe not quite the same crispness of offense with those young players playing, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate you being a part of the show. Thank you so much, and enjoy Thanksgiving, okay? By all means, please.
I got one question. Will Georgia continue to schedule tough out-of-conference games when we have to go to a 9-conference game schedule?
I think that's a really good question, and I will tell you that I'm not quite so sure that in the future the SEC is going to do quite as much of that, and I'll give you 2 reasons why. A, Texas goes to Ohio State. Now, listen, I don't like Texas very much, but they go to Ohio State. They lose that game, and now with 3 losses, that may be what keeps them out of the college football playoff. If you're Texas, you're left to wonder, what's the point of playing the game if losing it's going to knock us out of the playoff, where they could have played Charlotte, maybe have a chance to be 10-2, and maybe more likely to make the college football playoff. Same thing for Texas A&M. Right now you got 3 unbeatens near the top of the playoff rankings. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M's the 3rd. They seemingly have played a much tougher schedule. They won at Notre Dame, but right now that big non-conference win is not, at least in the eyes of the playoff selection committee, not giving A&M the nod over Indiana and Ohio State right now. I really think that's, if the committee's not careful, it's going to, whether it means to or not, probably doesn't mean to, but it's going to incentivize getting rid of a lot of these non-conference games because a lot of these SEC teams are just not getting credit for winning them. But great question. Thanks for being here. Good stuff. Absolutely. Good to see Georgia fans checking in right now. And would love to have you join us via phones here, too. 678-645-DAWG. That's the phone number, 678-645-DAWG. You can also click the link and join us live here via Zoom as well and be a part of the show that way. Also, the voice that you love hearing from on this show is that of Georgia coach Kirby Smart. You know, we gave our ServPro Game Ball to Bo Walker a little earlier. What did Kirby think about his freshman running back? This is what he said a moment ago.
It's great, man. He's been working his tail off every week. He's starting on 2 special teams units. He never complains. He got a smile on his face every day. Just love the way he competes and works. He's still got to grow and get better at some things, but he catches the ball in the backfield well. He blocks well, and he's got good vision. So I thought they opened some things up, and he made some people miss.
Yeah, great stuff there. Bo Walker, we would be led to believe, has a very bright future here at Georgia. And speaking of bright futures, a lot of Georgia fans getting some of their first tastes of Georgia football today, and that's been something we've celebrated all throughout the week here right now. Great to see you again. Remind folks your name, and then tell us who you brought with you today, too.
Hey, I'm Craig out of Warner Robinson. I've got Charlie, little Miss Charlie here, and I've got Abigail. So I brought the daughters out for a Charlotte game. It was great.
So, Abigail, did you enjoy the game today, and what was your favorite part?
I did enjoy the game, and I liked whenever we got the touchdowns.
Yeah, listen, a lot of touchdowns today. I like seeing Georgia get those touchdowns, too. That's kind of nice, right? How about you? What did you enjoy about the game?
That they keep on winning.
I like that, too. Georgia just keeps on winning, and I never get tired of seeing that. A lot of guys got in today. A lot of young players played. Georgia seemingly stayed healthy. Some banged-up players were able to be held out of the game. You know, it's not going to be the same level of intensity and entertainment you probably got from the Texas game, but this may have today been just what Georgia needed.
Well, I think it was, and the way I could describe today is just kind of a Chamber of Commerce day in Athens. And you talked about it earlier in the season. A lot of times when we had these kinds of games, we couldn't put teams away early enough to get all those guys in. So it's great to see you. I think, again, I've been calling you B.A. Stradamus, and you kind of called for this game today, and we're glad to have that where the guys can get in. The weather was perfect.
Yeah.
Had a little
it's funny. It was raining right before the game started. I had to sit in the car for a second, wait for the rain to stop. Finally walked in, and by the time you got to kickoff, boy, it really, just turned into a really pretty day.
It really was, and you don't expect to be in shorts and flip-flops in Athens on the 22nd of November. But the other thing I wanted to say was I know Kirby's going to get him ready. I don't think he liked playing real close with Tech last year. I'm sure he's been playing some videos from that on the effort plays that need to be made on this game. And I think, if I'm right, my friend told me that we haven't lost to Tech in Atlanta since the 1900s.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The 1999 season, or as we call it now, the 1900s.
Yeah, so
that's a pretty
nice. It's been a while.
Well, we also had, while you were standing in line, Rodrigo Blankenship a moment ago, our special guest analyst, said that back when he played at Georgia, and this is back during the triple option era, they would occasionally even put some stuff in for Tech during spring practice. That's how serious Kirby Smart, the Georgia alumnus, was about making sure he was ready for whatever Tech wanted to throw at him. So no doubt they've been doing some of that for this year too.
Yeah, we've got to be ready because this is their Super Bowl. I mean, they don't have much to play for as much as they'd have in the past, maybe last year even, but this is what their coach plays for all year long. So I think Kirby will have them ready, and a big shout out to Wesley for that 1999 1900s comment. So
I love that's awesome stuff. Hey, great stuff. Y'all enjoy your Thanksgiving, and thanks for being here today. And boy, I love seeing young Georgia fans getting a chance to come here and be a part of everything that's going to go down. In fact, we got a lot more Georgia fans waiting to be a part of the show here today, too. So you can join them, 678-645-DAWG. Click the link, join us live. We'll run through as many of your comments as we can. We'll hear more from Kirby Smart. We may hear from some Georgia players. We'll hear from Jeff Sintel here coming up in just a little bit, too, perhaps. All kinds of surprise on the way. Just do me one small favor, live from the UGA bookstore. Give me 60 seconds to thank a couple of sponsors, just to show some appreciation for them making all this possible. And then we're right back to the comments here live and everything else. 1 minute, we're right back to it here today on the DawgNation Postgame Call-In Show from the UGA bookstore, 60 seconds from right now.
I get it. We all want to do our research online before buying anything. But if you're in the market for a hot tub, trust me, you'll be glad you came into Georgia Spa Company to see their inventory in person. You just got to get your hands on them, see them, envision which model will fit your home and your lifestyle best. Talk to one of our consultants who, I promise you, will bring up considerations you never thought to consider. I'd also recommend taking a test soak. So come on into Georgia Spa Company. I promise you'll be glad you did.
Big games deserve big meals, so let Serchero's make it happen. It's friendly Tex-Mex, served fresh every day. Serchero's catering can handle the crowd, so it's perfect for your tailgate or watch party. Order online, pickup, or delivery. Serchero's is Georgia grown with over 30 locations throughout the state, bringing you fresh Mex, bowls, burritos, tacos, and more, with over 25 fresh toppings, customizable just the way you like it. So find a location near you at Sercheros.com. That's Sercheros.com.
If you're thirsting for It's Only Tuesday, that meeting should have been an email, and really need something to go your way level of refreshment, we definitely have that. When you're feeling the heat, Circle K makes your day.
This is DawgNation Postgame, brought to you by Sercheros, Georgia Spa Company, Circle K, and the UGA Bookstore.
Welcome back to the UGA Bookstore for our DawgNation postgame call-in show. Georgia wins 35-3. As was said on the TV broadcast today, for the first time in program history, it's put together 5 consecutive 10-win seasons, but every Georgia fan knows this. Georgia hopes to get a lot more than 10 before this 2025 season comes to an end. Nate Frazier gets 2 touchdowns. Bo Walker gets 3. Young players get involved. Ellis Robinson gets an interception. Daniel Kwankwo gets an interception. Sack for Chris Cole. Sack for Elijah Griffin. A lot of guys get their name in the stat sheet. We're talking about all of that here right now and celebrating a lot of young families that got their chance to be here too. I got Isabella standing by. She's got her Georgia cheerleading outfit on. Isabella, did you have a good time here today?
Yes.
You enjoyed it? Did you get anything good from the concession stand?
Yes.
What did you get?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Listen, any football game is always better when you got a little popcorn. Was it fun to see Georgia win this one too?
Yes.
What's going to be your best memory from today?
Getting the little doggy.
Yeah, you love the little doggy. Who doesn't want to see Uga when you come out and see a game like this? There he is right there, Isabella. You like that? That's awesome to see. And I love seeing families like this come out and have a good time. Passing that tradition of celebrating and cheering Georgia football is a special thing, right?
That is right. We love it. We're glad to be here. Very honored to be here with UBA. I love watching DawgNation Daily.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And all of your other programming, and we just really appreciate all that y'all do.
Man, that's really nice to hear. What did you think about the game overall? As I mentioned, a lot of guys got involved. What was your, key takeaway from it?
Well, we were doing really well in the first half. Things kind of slowed down once, they changed out some of the players and everything, and you kind of hate to see that, but at the same time, you love to see them get some experience and be ready for next year.
It's one of the things that I think that Kirby Smart really believes in that maybe not every Georgia fan loves is that when Kirby gets in these games, his goal oftentimes is just to get through them, get out of it. And so instead of extending it late and maybe creating an opportunity for the game to drag on a little longer, oftentimes they can keep the ball on the ground, they can get that clock moving. If they can get that rest and recuperating starting to get ready for Georgia Tech next Friday, oftentimes he's always thinking about that clock in his head, right?
Definitely, and I'll be there next Friday as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes,
well, that's going to be a big atmosphere for that one. So we appreciate these Georgia fans who are filling up Mercedes-Benz Stadium next Friday. We want to make that feel like a Georgia home game. Isabella, thank you so much for being here on the show, and I'm glad to have you inside Sanford Stadium today.
1, 2, 3.
Go Dogs!
Awesome stuff, y'all. Appreciate that. Good stuff. I'm telling you right now, nothing better than these young fans and young families getting a chance to be here and be a part of this today. You love to be able to see that. So Jonathan, our commenter, was just talking about getting some of those younger players involved in the second half and getting the starters out of the game so they could. Also, a moment ago, Kirby Smart did address just today being a day where a lot of players got their chance to get their name in the stat sheet, get some experience, and perhaps prepare for a future season when they could be more part of the plan here for Georgia. This is what Kirby Smart said about that just a couple of minutes ago.
Balancing pulling people, we talk about it before the game. And we go through every position, every player, and we try to talk about if we have an opportunity. And then sometimes it doesn't provide itself the opportunity to get guys in and get guys out. And so we try to do the best job we can.
Kirby Smart, and you see the numbers here today. So Bo Walker gets 48 yards with 3 touchdowns. Ryan Puglisi got a chance to throw the ball 11 times, completing 7 of those, 49 yards in total. C.J. Wiley, freshman wide receiver, he gets involved here. A total of 3 receptions for him. We hadn't seen Roderick Robinson really playing much this season, coming off of a serious ankle injury from a year ago. Obviously was dealing with a hamstring injury, we're told, earlier this season. He got a chance to play, and a total of 15 players, getting a chance to catch a pass today, to give you an idea of the overall depth that Georgia was able to put on display today, getting a lot of players involved. Good stuff from Georgia on that. I also want to hear a little bit, we got some good stuff from Rodrigo Blankenship a moment ago, talking about the game against Georgia Tech, talking about what that means to UGA, short week to get ready for it. Kirby Smart a moment ago also talking about an early preview of that rivalry game coming up less than 1 week from now against Georgia Tech. This is what Kirby Smart said about Georgia Tech.
I really haven't had an opportunity to watch a lot of Georgia Tech. I mean, I've seen them on TV, and I know the brand of football they play, and they're physical, and they're tough, and they've got an elite quarterback. Yeah, the same amount of time they have, we have. So I don't know there's an advantage. The advantage I guess you're asking about is you did it before, so repeating the process. But it's a little different this time for us in terms of timing and everything. We got to go on the road this time.
So you can decide for yourself what you think about. We heard Rodrigo a moment ago say we were getting ready for Tech back in spring practice when I was here. We've also heard Kirby a couple of times this season. This is one of those weird calendar years in which there are 2 off weeks. In both of those off weeks, Kirby Smart said, we were spending some time working on future opponents and doing some stuff like that. Well, you can decide for yourself if any of that time might have been spent on Georgia Tech, given what Rodrigo had said. Kirby says, I'm not even really sure what Tech's doing this year. I haven't watched them very much. Maybe that's the case, but certainly former players have let us know maybe behind the scenes Georgia's a lot more interested in this rivalry sometimes than Kirby's going to let on publicly. Of course, Kirby's going to occupy the same public demeanor that he often does. Interesting to hear Kirby Smart say that. However, though, when it does come to Georgia Tech, one of the guys that's given Tech a chance to beat Georgia, kept it close against Georgia the last couple of years, has been the quarterback Haynes King. We'll see him tonight in what's really a very important game for Georgia Tech against Pitt. It's a better opponent than the Jackets have mostly been playing in recent weeks. It's also a game in which, if Tech can win, stays alive for a shot at the ACC title game, and with Tech ranked in the college football playoff top 25, with ACC title hope still available to it, there is a chance that Georgia Tech could be in the college football playoff, and the quarterback Haynes King is one of the reasons why. A little earlier, Raylen Wilson, a linebacker who's been huge for Georgia this season, and someone we believe that's going to be instrumental next week in helping Georgia keep Haynes King at bay. Raylen Wilson talked about Haynes King. This is what he had to say.
Well, I know Haynes, he's a tough dude. He can take some hits. They like to run the ball. It's going to be a good game.
Short week, you feel like you guys will be ready to turn around real quick and put this to bed?
For sure. I know we can.
If you're watching on video, and of course on this show everybody is, if you're watching on video, the smile that you get from the end there on Raylen Wilson is just absolutely perfect. When he's asked, hey, do you think you can get ready on a short week? He smiles and says, I know we can. It's obviously not ideal to be playing a game like this on a short week, but if there's any team that's going to maximize every hour, maximize every moment, that is something that we believe that Georgia would be able to do. It's something that it did a year ago, too. Both teams had to do that. The game was also on Black Friday a year ago. But Georgia just manages its schedule well, manages its calendar well, and certainly hearing Raylen Wilson there, it certainly seems like he feels like he's got confidence that Georgia's going to be ready to do just that. Of course, a lot of this is also going to be determined on how healthy Georgia is coming into the game, and we would expect that someone like C.J. Allen, Raylen Wilson's counterpart at the linebacker spot, maybe he's not able to play. hopefully someone like Chauncey Bowens at running back might be able to be. The two offensive linemen that missed today's game, Drew Bobo, Ernest Green, we believe and assume they'll probably be able to play next Friday. The injury situation for Georgia is going to be crucial. How healthy can you be for this one? And depending on what your schedule looks like after that, with the SEC championship maybe, or some rest you hope before the college football playoff perhaps, how healthy is Georgia right now? What is the injury situation? Kirby Smart also took some time to talk about that.
Who's that? Yeah, both those guys. Drew's still dealing with a laceration in his hand that's created some problems for us that we're trying to get him healthy from, and Ernest should be back.
We saw Talon Taylor get to warm up today. Just what kind of progress is he making?
He's making good progress. He's been through this before, and he's progressing well.
So I think the news on Talon Taylor is certainly pretty promising. That's a guy we saw after the Alabama game deal with a shoulder injury that, frankly, I thought might linger for him a lot longer than it appears that it has. Back dressed out today as the question presented to Kirby, and it sounds, Kirby doesn't reveal a lot of information there, but it sounds like, Taylor's coming along. And when you think about how much football Georgia could still play and how crucial all of that football could be, if you did at some point have another wide receiver weapon that you could put in the game, a receiver that it trusted enough to run a deep route against Alabama to give you an idea of how much promise they believe that Taylor has, if he's healthy enough that he can play for you at any point this year, that's certainly a pleasant surprise, and one you could at least let your imagination run wild on a bit, because he was dressed out today, even if not quite ready to play just yet. So let's reset things here just for a moment. It's our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. We're live here at the UGA bookstore, and if this is the final time this year that we're at the UGA bookstore, because we don't know, Georgia could play a home playoff game, Georgia could be back here for a national championship celebration. We really don't know what the future holds for us, but if it is the final time, I just want to say once again, thank you to everybody at the UGA bookstore who always makes this such an enjoyable place for us to do the show, a great spot for us to interact with other Georgia fans. It's a really cool thing to see. We've been doing this around Dawg Nation longer almost than we've done anything. Way back before video was a regular occurrence for us, we would do our show from the UGA bookstore. This is like back in 2016. We weren't doing Dawg Nation Daily on video yet, and a lot of things we weren't doing on video yet, but we were doing video live from here. Now, the way in which we put the video on air is a lot different then than it is now, but it's still great to think about all the years we've been here and been able to do that. And frankly, I have as much time being here every Saturday as I did even going back 9-10 years ago. It's an awesome thing. So thank you to the UGA bookstore for being such gracious hosts for us. And who knows, maybe it's our final time, maybe it's not. We'll see about that. But if it is, what a way to go out as Georgia gets its 10th win of this 2025 season. Bo Walker has 3 touchdowns today. The freshman running back who we had heard so many good things about in fall camp and spring practice, a guy that had really generated some positive buzz. Today, you got a glimpse of where that buzz came from and why people believe that Bo Walker has such a bright future potentially at UGA. That was great to see. Also, in a day in which Chauncey Bowens was held out or unable to play, we saw Nate Frazier step up and pick up the slack for him. Frazier also had 2 touchdowns. And as we mentioned earlier, it was a cool day to see Cash Jones, the hero last week for his recovery of the onside kick that allowed Georgia to build an insurmountable lead against Texas. He also got his first official start today in the game for the first snap. That was great to see from Georgia at the running back spot. In total, 3 Georgia quarterbacks played today. Gunnar Stockton, of course, started. Ryan Puglisi came in. And then before the day was done, Ryan Montgomery also got a chance to play too. And that's also the furthering of what has, and you see the numbers up there today for what Stockton and Puglisi were able to do. The fact that Puglisi was able to attempt 11 passes, well, I think that's something that you really like. And in what's felt like limited action for Stockton, still 196 passing yards in total. Thankfully, did not have to run the ball very much. Did throw another interception. Rodrigo Blankenship made mention of that when he was with us. I don't know that I'm all that concerned about that yet, because overall, even last week, the interception that Stockton threw against Texas was completely surrounded by other big-time throws, really aggressive shots down the field. And so the fact that that's what we're seeing from Gunnar Stockton now on a more regular basis, really letting it rip, really turning it loose, even if it comes with the occasional interception. Of course, you can't have too many. But even if that comes with the occasional interception, I think you feel pretty good about that, all things considered. And Georgia getting 3 quarterbacks into the game today, I think that's definitely something that you'll feel pretty good about. Defensively, a lot of guys got in the stat sheet. Chris Cole gets a sack. Elijah Griffin gets a sack. Daniel Akakwo gets an interception late in the game today. Ellis Robinson got a really athletic-looking interception. That was good to see from him. So a lot of Georgia players getting involved, a lot of good things happening for Georgia here today. And as Kirby Smart was already talking about, attention now turning to Georgia Tech. And on a short week, Georgia getting ready for that, preparing what will be clean old-fashioned hate. And in this particular year, not just any clean old-fashioned hate. This is a rare moment, at least for right now. Both Georgia and Georgia Tech are ranked in the top 25. And what is certainly a rarity, both Georgia and Georgia Tech have postseason hopes. Tech thinks it can be a playoff team. Georgia would love nothing more than to spoil all of that on Black Friday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And by the way, how much did you love hearing so many Georgia fans who joined us here today, whether it be on the phones or at the UGA bookstore, saying, I've got my tickets. It was supposed to be a Tech home game, but we're going to do everything we can to make it feel like a Georgia home game next week. I think that's awesome, and I think that's a great way to close out the season. And you knew in our show today there would already be a lot of attention pointed to that, and obviously we are now ready for that. So that's what this week's going to be about. Yes, we got Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, but a lot of preparation behind the scenes for Georgia getting ready for the game, and a lot of Georgia fans trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. So what do you say? We get ready to wrap this up here today and let all of that get started. Clean, old-fashioned hate. Georgia against Georgia Tech. You can tune in. You can get a scouting report for these Yellow Jackets tonight. See what they're all about. If you haven't been able to watch them much this year, and given the irrelevant teams they've been playing, why would you have? But tonight may be worth tuning in. Get yourself a little early scouting report and get your game face on and get ready for this one. One of the things that Kirby Smart has done, as well as any coach ever could, total domination of rivals, beating Auburn, beating Tennessee, 9 years in a row, long winning streak now against Florida. On and on you can go with the success that Georgia's had against its rivals. It's also beat Tech every year, dating back to the 2016 season. That was the last Georgia Tech win in this series. Keeping that streak going and matching some history for Georgia in the process, dating back to the great drop breaker Theron Sapp. That would be an awesome way to punctuate and close out the 2025 regular season. Let's get ready to enjoy that. Thank you so much for being a part of our DawgNation Postgame call-in show. Can you believe that the regular season has already come to a close? Almost, anyway, with just one more regular season game left and the final from Sanford Stadium here for the regular season in the books after the win against Charlotte. Time goes by fast. We try to enjoy every moment. But, man, there's no greater privilege for me than the opportunity to speak to you as a part of this show each and every week. Around Dawg Nation, the way in which our post-game call-in show has grown over the years is maybe one of the things that I'm the most proud of. And obviously, as we've grown, you've seen Georgia keep on winning, maintaining a great level of consistency, exceeding its season win total today. As we said to kick things off to start the show today, too. That was a lot of fun. So, thanks for being here today. If you're on Real Hope from Athens, safe driving, be careful. We'll see you on Monday morning for Dawg Nation Daily, getting ready for the big one against Georgia Tech. Staying in Atlanta for that on Friday, and maybe Atlanta for the following Saturday, too. Thanks to Tristan, who's been here with us all year long, doing great work here at the UGA Bookstore. And one more time, thank you to the UGA Bookstore for being great hosts for us. Georgia is a winner, 35-3. How about them Dogs? Have a great weekend, everybody.